Welcome to Self with Savana. If you're new here, I'm Savana. Thank you for being here with me today. Today, I want to talk about who you are beneath the shoulds. And the reason why I want to talk about this today is because I know for me, I spent a very long time living my life and building my life in a way in which I thought I should rather than who I actually was. I spent so much time worrying about and trying to live up to all of these shoulds. I was putting so much of my energy and my focus on everything outside of me rather than listening to my own truth. It was like the shoulds of, oh, I should choose to do this with my life because that's what everyone else is doing. I should choose the safe option. I should have everything figured out by now. My life should look this way at my age, or my life should look this way by this specific age. Or I should be grateful for what I have and not want anything more. And what I say to that one is you are allowed to be so grateful for the life that you have and who you are right now, and also want more. Both things can exist. Just because you want more for yourself, for your life, doesn't mean that you're ungrateful. In fact, allowing yourself to want more and giving yourself permission to go after your goals, dreams, desires is one of the biggest acts of self love because you're telling yourself, I love myself enough to give myself permission to do what I want to do, to live my life how I want to. You're saying to yourself, I matter. My desires matter because they do. All of those desires that you have, they are placed on your heart for a reason. Most people are living their life or building their life based on inherited or passed down expectations. They're living their life in a way that feels that they should because that's what's expected of them, rather than from personal truth. And I know this from experience. When you are living your life in that way, you're living for everything outside of you rather than in here, you begin to feel so disconnected from yourself and from your life. Because it's like you're trying to paint this picture of your life. You're trying to live up to this person who you may not actually be. And when you're trying to chase something outside of you that maybe was never even yours to begin with, that is such an incredibly draining way to live. And I know for me, it led me to a pretty dark place because I was so disconnected from myself and from my life. And I was just so unhappy because I wasn't living for me. I was just going down the path that everyone else was doing around me, that society expects from us, that the world tells us we're supposed to be, and how we're supposed to live our lives by this certain age. And that just wasn't me. That was never me. But I was pushing the truth of who I was and what I actually wanted down because I felt like I just needed to fit in. I needed to fit the mold. And so I pushed everything down, everything that I actually wanted, who I actually was down. Because I'm like, I can't do that. It's not acceptable. Nobody else does it. So why can I? And it wasn't until I began saying, do you know what? Screw all the shoulds. I'm done with that. Following the shoulds has led me to this place of being really unhappy, feeling depressed, feeling lost, and I don't want to feel like this anymore. And so I began peeling back all the layers of all the outside noise and expectations and pressure and ideas and teachings of who I should be. And slowly I let all of that go and I shifted my focus to myself. I began building an understanding of who I was at my core. What was my true personality? What are the things that I actually want in my life? What's important to me? And many people think that they don't actually know what they want. But the truth is that we were never taught how to discover it. We were never taught how to give ourselves space to discover what it is that we want for ourselves and for our lives, which is exactly why I created Self My Monthly Membership. And this is what I help my women inside of it do, is get clear on who they are at their core, what it is that they actually want, and what's important to them. That's a big part of what we do inside Self, is I help my women understand what their values are. Because your values, meaning what's important to you, are the foundation for everything. Your values act as your inner compass, guiding every decision that you make. And when you're clear on what's important to you, that is how you can start building a life that feels so fulfilling, so meaningful, so good, because you now have that foundation. And when you make decisions, you're making decisions based on what is actually important to you, rather than just kind of wandering aimlessly through life and allowing life to just happen. You're consciously creating it through your decisions. And through those decisions, you're living in alignment with who you actually are. Because, like I said, it's so incredibly draining to live as somebody you're not. And so, in order to shift that, in order to live from who you actually are, you first have to understand who you are. You have to understand what your desires are. You have to understand what's important to you. And once you have that foundation, your life will change. I'll give you a personal example, okay? So I went to college and I thought I wanted to be a preschool teacher. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I had done some volunteering with a special needs student in high school and in the kindergarten grade 1 and 2 room. And I really enjoyed it. And I was like, you know what? I'll do that. Sure. But from a young age, I would say in middle school, I knew I had this dream of traveling. But when it came time to graduate, I pushed that down. And not because anyone in particular was pressuring me to go to college, it was from myself. I made that decision to go to college for myself, but because I was telling myself the story of I needed to do what everyone else was doing around me. I felt like I needed to live up to the societal expectations to be seen as successful, which is a bunch of BS. You don't need to go to college to be successful. But that's a whole other side conversation. Anyways, so I went to college, graduated from college, got my first job out of college. I was so unhappy. That was one of the darkest points in my life. I was very depressed. Talked about this in previous episodes. Crying in my car before work. After work, I was going home, literally laying in bed. I had panic attacks. It was a rough time. I was really unhappy. And in that dark time, I had to make a decision. Was I going to keep living my life this way and just doing what I thought I should do because that was the norm? That was the norm. Go to college, get a job, work that job for the rest of your life, stay in that career, and so on. But that wasn't me. That wasn't me. And I pushed my dream of going out and traveling down. And so I could make the decision to stay down that path, wasn't looking very good, or I can make the decision to get honest with myself and do the scarier thing, which was to go travel. That felt scary to make that decision because I didn't know anybody who had done that before. Like I said, that's not the traditional path. So it felt quite scary, but I made that decision. And holy F, I am so thankful that I did because it completely changed my life in the most incredible ways. My life looks so incredibly different now than it did back then. So different and in the best way because I'm living my life how I want to in a way that feels true and good for me. Making that one decision to go move abroad to New Zealand, like I said, it completely changed the trajectory of my life, and I continued traveling and living abroad and in other places around the world for several years after that, which led me here to creating my dream business where I get to help women all over the world. Because when I went to Bali on one of my travels, I saw a bunch of digital nomads living freely, living their best lives, working from their laptop, and that reignited this desire of me wanting to be my own boss and being able to work from anywhere, just from my laptop. And so when you can start making decisions, literally just starting off by making one small decision that feels right for you, not based on all of the shoulds, you never know what that one decision is going to lead you to next. The universe works in pretty damn cool ways. And when you start living life for you and you start shifting to live in alignment with who you actually are, I am telling you, magic unfolds. Magic unfolds. You will be given so many unexpected opportunities, and you will open yourself up to this whole world of possibilities, this life that you dream about, that's even better than you could have ever imagined, is waiting for you. It's available for you on the other side of fear. And it all starts with first by getting to know yourself, getting to know what it is that you want and what's important to you. And then once you have that clear understanding, that honest, genuine understanding of who you are, you can then start making small decisions that align with your truth. That is how my life has completely changed in the most incredible ways, and it will for you as well. But you have to give yourself permission to start doing the thing. And I want to make it clear that you don't have to have your entire life figured out right now. You're not meant to have your entire life figured out right now. Most people don't. I would argue to say that nobody has every single area of their life figured out all the time. So you can remove that pressure from yourself now. It's just about starting to take small steps every day, and you will open yourself up to unimaginable, incredible ways of living. So I want to share with you a few ways that you can start doing that today. So I want to share with you 3 things that you can start doing to reconnect with yourself so that you can shift your focus from giving so much of your energy and attention to everyone else's voice and instead turn it into your own voice. Start reconnecting with your own inner voice. Because when you start reconnecting, that's what gives you the foundation for alignment and for fulfillment so that you can live a life that you fucking love. And it's what I teach inside Self My Membership is 1, understanding who you are, 2, having clarity on what it is that you want, and 3, knowing what's important to you, your values. So the first step on how you can start reconnecting with yourself today is do something that feels good for you. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. You don't need to tell anybody else if you don't want to. Just do it for you, simply for the sake that it feels good. Maybe that means you try something new. Maybe it means you sign up for a yoga class. Maybe it means you literally go for a walk, or you bake something, you do a craft, you read. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. It just has to feel good for you. Because what that is doing is it's building trust with yourself. And it's telling yourself that, do you know what? I matter. My desires matter. I'm allowed to do the things that I want to do. And the more that you give yourself permission to just do the damn things, it snowballs, it builds momentum, and it's going to leave you feeling really damn good. And you know what? Maybe the first time you choose to do something just simply for the sake that you want to do it and it feels good for you, maybe a little bit of guilt comes up. Maybe it feels a little bit uncomfortable. That's normal, especially if you're someone who spent a really long time trying to live for the outside, trying to live up to all the outside pressure and noise and expectations. It can feel uncomfortable at first, but the more you do it, the easier it's going to get. The next one that you can start doing today is, and this is probably one of my favorites, it's something that I support my women in doing every week, which is start getting to know yourself. This is so huge because most people will go through their entire lives without stopping to check in with themselves and be honest about who they are and what they want. So start creating time for that. And the way that you can do that is by simply asking yourself good questions. And you can do this by literally just sitting with yourself, asking yourself a question, letting the answers come. What I like to do is use journal prompts and journal on it. So, one of my favorite questions that I'll leave you with today, and it's one that has helped me so much and that my clients inside self love as well, which is, if fear simply did not exist, how would I be living my life? What would I be doing every day? Who would I be surrounded by? What type of environment would I be living in? What type of friendships and people would I have in my life? Just allow the answers to come to you. You don't have to have them right away. Don't put pressure on yourself to force them out. Just allow them to come to you and reflect on it and be honest with yourself. When you're writing your answers down, remember that nobody else has to read what you write. This is just for you. In order to get clarity, you have to be honest with yourself. Another exercise that I really like doing for me and my clients is write down your ideal day. Write down a day in your dream life. Just imagine what that would look like, what would that would feel like. Again, don't judge yourself. Be honest with yourself and just allow yourself to imagine. Allow yourself to dream. Most people never allow themselves to dream, and that's so boring. Let yourself dream. Something else you could think about is ask yourself, what drains me? Is there anything in my life where I just feel so exhausted and drained after doing it? Maybe it's something you're doing in your life, or maybe it's being around certain people. After every time you spend time with them, you're just like, oh, I feel so drained and exhausted. That's a sign. That's your body signaling something to you. Maybe it's a habit that you have. I know for me, for a long time, and I kind of go in spurts with it, when I find myself scrolling mindlessly a lot, I don't feel good. That's not a habit that supports me in me being my best self. And so when I become aware of that, I'm like, you know what? I need to have some self discipline and I need to cut down the amount of time or when I'm allowing myself to go on my phone. For example, when I first wake up in the morning, I will not go on my phone. Absolutely not. Because how you start your day and what you do in the morning sets the tone for the rest of your day. And then on the other hand, you can ask yourself, what excites me in my life? What energizes me? What makes me feel good? Maybe it's certain people in your life that you have that after every time you hang out, it's like, oh my gosh, I feel so good. I feel so energized. That's a clue that your body and your life is giving you, like, okay, I want to spend more time with this person. They make me feel awesome. Or maybe it's a habit that you have that makes you feel really good. Like for me, it's moving my body every day. That makes me feel so good. And meditating and journaling. Those are some of my habits that I incorporate into my life every day because they make me feel so good. So start building some awareness around that. Start asking yourself good questions. And the last one I want to leave you with today is start creating small moments of stillness in your days. What I mean by this is create moments where you are free from distractions because you can't hear your own voice when your life is consumed by all the outside noise. You can begin reconnecting with yourself when you start spending intentional time with just you. And when I say free from distractions, I mean putting your phone on silent or putting your phone in another room. Just allowing yourself to be free from it all so that you can hear yourself again, right? We live in such a fast paced, busy, loud world, especially with our phones. So create moments in your day. Maybe that means in the morning you give yourself 5 minutes to just sit and enjoy your coffee, enjoy your own company. Maybe it means you journal, you meditate, you sit outside and you soak up some sun for a bit, free from distractions, free from your phone, free from all the other people's opinions, free from the distractions, free from all of the advice out there, and just start reconnecting with yourself. So, those are the 3 tips that I'll leave you with today. But really just start allowing yourself to start thinking about who am I underneath all of the shoulds? Because the moment that you start questioning the shoulds is the moment that you start coming home to yourself, coming home to the truth of who you are. You're standing in the doorway of opening yourself up to this really fucking incredible way of living. It's how we're meant to live. We're not meant to live a version of someone else's life. We're meant to live based on the truth of who we are. That's why we're here, is to be the most you that you can possibly be. To live your life in a way that feels so like you. Because we're here to enjoy ourselves. We're here to enjoy our lives. And the way that you do that is by living it your way. And if you want even more support in doing so, you're welcome to join my monthly membership Self, where you will be taken through a 3-month transformation where you will be guided on how to peel back all of the layers of all the shoulds, of all the outside noise and pressure and expectations, so that you can reconnect with the truth of who you are, so that you can get clear on what it is that you want, so that you can start building your life your way. So I'll leave the link to that down below, or you can always find it in my social media bios. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for being here, and I hope you have an awesome week. Bye.